Okay, so here we have, for this first part, we're looking at Green Hill Zone, and basically all of the locations that essentially echo it. And, this is in design, and also, through the artistic direction, the level structure and things like that. But there's a lot of landmarks that these levels have that really tell you, hey, this is Green Hill Zone, but we decided we wanted to have, I don't know, maybe they wanted more locations, or they, wanted some different story elements, so they had to make up a brand new location, but they, reused whatever they had from the original plan, of this thing of being one island. So if you look at Green Hill Zone, and of course it's Green Hill Zone 8-bit and 16-bit, this is establishing what Green Hill Zone is. You got your palm trees, you've got your striped grass, you got the checkered dirt, crystal blue waters, clear blue skies, things like that. And so then you come to Emerald Hill Zone, which is like Green Hill Zone's bigger brothers, so to speak. And you can see a lot of those traits being carried over with the striped green grass, and you've got like the earth-toned, bottom patterns here, except now it's a little bit more blocky. You still do have some of the checkered inspiration, definitely down in the dirt. You got the clear blue waterfalls that were present, of course, in the Green Hill Zone 16-bit. I don't know if the waterfalls are present in 8-bit in the first act. I think you do get some waterfalls though in the underwater caves. You got the clear blue oceans out there in the background, clear blue sky. Pretty much the same exact feels that you'd get from the first, 16-bit Green Hill Zone. And in fact, actually, Emerald Hill Zone here was called Green Hill Zone in the prototypes. And so, it's pretty obvious, to tell where the influence came from, considering the fact that, it looks pretty much like Green Hill Zone straight up. There's not really a whole lot that differentiates it from its former counterpart. And then you have over here the Green Hill Zone from Sonic 2 Game Gear, and you can obviously tell it's taking some inspiration from, Emerald Hill Zone from Sonic 2. You got the similar block ground here. Again, clear blue skies, granted they're a little darker because they decided to go with the darker color palette for this. But, overall, you're pretty much getting the same thing. You got some cliffs in the background, or it could be trees, but I think those are cliffs. The trees are slightly different in this part of Green Hill for some reason. But anyways, and then over here you have the Green Hill of Sonic Drift. And so the Sonic Drift levels is really what ties this all together. I'm going to get a little bit more into that, but first I want to show you, obviously, this other zone here on the end that is in the Sonic Drift level, Azure Lake Zone. And it has, it takes a lot of the same notes that Green Hill Zone is famous for. It's got some checkered ground, it has that kind of striped grass look. I mean, granted now it's a little more zigzag. You got the clear blue water and clear blue skies in the background. Granted, at this point we do now have some snowy mountains bordering, the foliage back there. So it's a little bit different, but Azure Lake definitely has some very strong Green Hill Zone vibes going on. So now, here are the Sonic Drift levels that we're going to take a look at. So over here, first up, we got on this end, we have the Green Hill Zone from the first Sonic Drift that was only released in Japan, I believe. And you can see, of course, it has the typical traits of Green Hill Zone. It's got the checkered ground. It's got, kind of like the wavy grass that you'd see, back here in the 16-bit as it kind of goes up and down a little bit. It's not exactly completely straight like the 8-bit version, and it's very reminiscent of what Green Hill is. And then you come over here to Balloon Panic Zone. This is a racetrack from Sonic Drift 2, I believe. And here you can see a bit of a mix from both Emerald Hill Zone and also Green Hill Zone. You have that checkered ground from Green Hill, and then you got that striped grass that's a little bit longer than Green Hill, and you can kind of tell, oh hey, that looks a little bit like an Emerald Hill influence. Some people might argue that, hey, both Green Hill and Emerald Hill have striped green grass, and so, maybe from a distance you couldn't really tell, which one it's supposed to be. But this is Balloon Panic, and then there in the background you can kind of see some hills that look reminiscent to Emerald Hills hills that are present in the background. I'm saying a lot of hills right now. But if we go on ahead and take a look now down at the Emerald Hill Zone track from the game, which is right here, you can see a lot of the influence of both Green Hill and Emerald Hill present, just together, which really solidifies the fact that a lot of these levels are supposed to just be Green Hill and not really something else. You can see here that these checkered floors that are very prominent only in the 16-bit Green Hill, if I go back up here, and also the 8-bit Green Hill, they are present down here in the Emerald Hill track. Even though Emerald Hill is supposed to be having more of these blocky structures be prominent, and not so much this checkering that's going on in Green Hill. And then the trees in the background aren't as stocky as the ones that are present within Emerald Hill Zone. Granted, I don't have anything presented right now on screen to show you guys, but these trees definitely look a lot more like they're supposed to be representing the trees from the Green Hill Zone, as you can see right here. Or even perhaps the ones from Sonic 8-bit, which I mean, they share the same designs, just as the one from 8-bit is a little bit smaller, a little bit more compressed. But you can definitely see that there's these influences from Green Hill, you know, there in Emerald Hill, and it would make sense for the theory where, you know, this is one island, you know, you're not going to West Side and South Island, you know, or Angel Island. Instead, this is all supposed to just be one island, and so it makes sense that maybe Green Hill is a very giant area that has a diverse ecosystem. You know, maybe there's different parts of it that have some different landscape features but retain, you know, some common ones. And so right next to this one that we're looking at, this is Green Hill Zone from Sonic Blast. It's explicitly named Green Hill Zone. So this right here, granted it looks a little bit different with its more realistic ground and stuff, but this is because more of the artistic direction. But it does keep a lot of the same, you know, traits that Green Hill Zone 16-bit has. You know, you got your palm trees, you have your bridges, your waterfalls. And the pathway shares a lot in common with, I believe it is, Green Grove from 3D Blast, which we'll get to here in a bit. There's also Emerald Ocean, which is, I assume it's supposed to be somewhere near the Emerald Hill track from Sonic Drift 2. They both do share the same kind of like background islands. And so I believe that this track takes place in the waters around the Emerald Hill track. I could be wrong, so if anyone, you know, in the comment section wants to correct me on that part. But anyways, before we move on to some of the zones that are over down in this way, and I can go back up just to check, make sure I've not missed anything so far on this top row. I think we covered everything up there. If we go down here to the Green Grove Zone, this is undeniably Green Hill. It's pretty hard to argue that it's not. It has the same exact checker floors as Green Hill. You know, you're seeing some of the same foliage. You got those like little flowers which are reminiscent to these things right here in Green Hill Zone. You know, it's got the blue waters and streams and waterfalls and things like that. It's got the bridges. I mean, it's supposed to very obviously be a reference to Green Hill Zone, if not be Green Hill Zone itself. And some of these bushes right here, actually, it's a little bit too pixely to really see in this version, because this was a, I think it was a little bit of a zoomed out map, I think made for possibly speedrunning. But these little bushes right here, if in clear scope, they do look somewhat similar to the bushes of Palm Tree Panic Zone. They have some of the same star shape to them, and you know, they take some of that same inspiration. So I'm not sure if maybe Green Grove pulled from Palm Tree Panic, if that was an intentional choice, or if that was just kind of by accident, you know, that they came with that aesthetic and were like, oh, well, it looks good with the Green Hill Zone theme, and they didn't realize that they had already done it in the Palm Tree Panic Zone. But speaking of Palm Tree Panic, obviously you can see a lot of Green Hill inspiration in this zone. And there's actually even if you look in the background, you see have these really big cascading waterfall cliffs. And if you look at the Green Hill Zone track for the first Sonic Drift, you'll notice that these giant cascading waterfall cliffs aren't necessarily exclusive to Palm Tree Panic, and in fact they can be found in the Green Hill Zone. If you look way far in the back, you can see this kind of giant waterfall mountain structure that you don't see anywhere necessarily in 16-bit one. Because remember, 16-bit Sonic the Hedgehog, you got some tall structures, but you don't see any giant, you know, water like cascading from them in the background. You just don't see that in the 16-bit Green Hill Zone. But here in Sonic Drift, they don't shy away from these, very tall mountains with these cascading waterfalls, which is very, very reminiscent of what's going on here in Palm Tree Panic. And I don't know if necessarily Palm Tree Panic was released after Sonic Drift, so maybe, the Green Hill Zone in Sonic Drift 1 pulled from this design choice. That's right here. But anyways, and then of course you have the grass. The grass is back with that kind of like jagged green look. It's not necessarily striped exactly like Emerald Hill and Green Hill, but you can definitely tell that a lot of the zone has taken its inspiration from its Mega Drive counterparts, because, it's a Sega CD game. But, again, this is another Green Hill iteration. It fits right in there with all the others. And then you have over here the Turquoise Hill Zone, which is from Sonic Chaos. And of course, Turquoise Hill, Green Hill, it's not really that slide. Nice try, Sega, but yeah, we all know it's Green Hill. And you can kind of see these block structures down here that start to really blend that checkered look with that blocky look. So it takes that checkered look of the Green Hill Zone right here and really starts to blend it with the blocky look of Emerald Hill. Something similar actually to what right here Green Hills did in Sonic 2. And so you can see, that those design pieces coming together to form this new look. And you can see that the grass is yet again striped. You got these islands floating out against this nice blue ocean. You got a clear sky. And I mean, to be honest, a lot of these zones share this very similar look of looking out into a pure blue ocean with islands in the background. Here, you got it here in Emerald Ocean. You got it up here in Emerald Hill Zone. Granted, the islands aren't shown on this background, but in the full background, if you look it up, there's islands that sit on the ocean's horizon. And so this is a very reoccurring feature in all of them as well. And then over here, you have the Great Turquoise Zone, which is a very obvious follow-up to the Turquoise Hill Zone. This one appearing in Sonic Triple Trouble, while this one appeared in Sonic Chaos. In the Great Turquoise Zone, you're seeing a lot of Green Hill inspiration yet again. You're seeing kind of like the grass that's starting to take inspiration from Palm Tree Panic a little bit with the more complex jaggedness, but then also keeping up with that kind of striped tradition of the striped green grass. You have the palm trees still there, the view out looking, over the ocean with the tiny islands in the background. I would say overall this is probably the most different looking one simply because of the ground that's given. But I mean, aside from that, it's basically Green Hill Zone. And so I think overall, for there being a one island theory, these are all definitely supposed to be, like Green Hill is supposed to just be all these locations basically. Green Grove is undeniably Green Hill Zone. It's really hard to argue that it's not, just because of the way that it's structured and the themed and all the environmental aspects to it. This is pretty much Green Hill Zone right there. And even looking at, others that just may blatantly reference Green Hill Zone, such as Green Hills, or even, Green Hill from Sonic Blast. And so I think a one island theory, I think this whole conundrum with Green Hill really plays into that theory very well. And I know that this is not the only part. This is just one of many zone connections that there are, whether it have been through prototype discoveries or beta information, or even just outright aesthetic choices in the zones. You can tell that certain zones are supposed to be together geographically. But anyways, so that's going to be all for this first episode of this giant island theory that dives into how really the entirety of classic Sonic universe was more or less supposed to just happen, all on one giant island, rather than having it split across all these different islands and having the Chaos Emeralds go from one island to the next and back and forth, in a way that, so vague that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Anyways, thank you for tuning into this first episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.